Welcome back. We skipped last week as we shared with you guys because we're
It's
back in
just crazy.
Florida and we had family.
Yeah.
And so it was just insanity with all the people here, and it was a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys had a great either 4th of July holiday or happy Canada Day for our Canadian friends that are part of this group.
Absolutely.
And it was a nice long weekend for all of us.
I know you guys did some races, some fun races and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it was a great weekend for everyone. This was a short week, so that's also a good thing, for everyone who is still working.
Yeah, exactly. So today we're going to keep this short to the point again, and we're going to talk about something. Again, I'm always trying to find different things to talk about, but this is something that's near and dear to my heart because certain parts of our legs as runners, we think that just running is going to do it, and that's not the case. And so we have to focus on our gluteus maximus.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about, runners, they just think running miles and doing all this stuff, I should be strong enough. I can run. Your body's not going to stop you from not running, even if the muscles that are supposed to be doing all the heavy lifting are not doing that. When they are not strong enough, the body just makes compensations, and then we become quad dominant, or we are using our hamstrings or our calves. So then we get all these kind of issues all over the place. There's 3 major muscles when it comes to the glutes: the maximus, the medius, and the minimus. A lot of running exercises we talk about, that glute activated ones, the clamshells, the lateral leg races, and that all are great. They work on hip stability. That's a big part of what our glutes do. But we also need those big, powerful, functional movements that we can add weight to, that we can actually progress. That's what our body likes the best, is exercises that we can add load to, that we can progress over time. When we're doing the fire hydrants and doing all those, yes, they're great, but they're not, you can't add a lot of weight to that. You can't add a lot of strength to that. To strengthen the glutes, is our largest, biggest muscle. You need heavy weights to be able to do that. So we're going to go over some exercises you can do in the gym that can be done focusing on your quads or focusing on your glutes. We want to make sure you're doing these exercises, if you are, that you're focusing on your glutes, because that's where the power is.
Right. And we've talked about this all the time. Your body is going to naturally adapt, right? So if a certain muscle is weaker, other muscles are going to take over, and that's going to lead to a higher chance of injury, which we are all guilty of. We've gone through this as well this past winter. So we recognize that the glutes, because we're sitting so much now, like I said a minute ago, for me, this is kind of important because I used to play hockey, and so I had strong glutes and strong quads, but I had very strong glutes. They are now gone because I sit all day.
They're not gone.
They're gone, but they're weaker, right? Yeah. So we recognize that.
And a lot of us are in those situations where we are sitting all day.
Right.
But they have funny terms. They say your glutes are turned off. They've forgotten to work. It's not that. You just need to strengthen them and get that more mind muscle connection of working the right muscle that you want to have for the exercise that you're doing. Yep. Instead of just mindfully going through exercises that you've always done. That's the key. It's making that mind muscle connection so you're getting the best benefit of the time that you're spending.
Exactly. So we'll go ahead. We got some slides here to go share. And again, we'll keep this short to the point. We want you guys to enjoy your Saturday, obviously. And so happy Saturday to again. We're talking about getting the most from your leg day. And that is what's the point that we're going to talk about that. As we talk about every week, do your own research, guys. This is stuff that we do. We are research geeks, as we've shared countless times. It's not medical advice, but it's something we're trying to give you guys a point of view, and you can do your own research.
This is stuff that's helped us. So we like to, we're all big runners. So, the things that have helped us, we feel can help you.
Exactly. So, and as we always talk about, success is a slow process. We all know this. And quitting doesn't speed it up.
So it is. We get impatient.
We do. We're all guilty of that.
We want things fast, but great things don't come easy. They don't come fast, and they're not rewarding.
Right. So. And that's another reason why we encourage you guys to post pictures to motivate each of us, right?
Yeah.
Just because it's that one time where the other day, Barbara posted something. I'm like, I got to get out and run, but I didn't have a chance. So I was kicking myself, but that was the motivation I needed. So I got back at it. We both ran this morning, and that's the whole point, right? So today we're going to talk about these certain leg exercises. Now, we're fortunate where we're at now. There's gym here.
It's a small gym. It doesn't have all the grades that Gold's Gym have, but some key things that you can do.
Right, but it has enough, right? So we're just creative. We're using what we have at our disposal, and there's always something you can do. Is if you have any kind of gym, even if you're in a hotel, they're going to have a lot of times things like this. So we're going to give you some examples today. So just to recap of last week, or a couple of weeks ago, actually, we talked about the anti-rotational exercises, which were the band squats, the plank pulls, renegade rows,
and the shoulder taps, all those things that keep, when we keep in running, you have a little bit of movement in your hips, just naturally, when you're running. But the more movement you have, the less, that takes more energy, the less efficient you're going to be. So that minimizing that rotation that you have, that stability is a key parts of that. And doing those exercises are a key part in making you more efficient and making you a stronger runner.
Exactly. So that was a couple weeks ago. So today we're going to talk about, again, these leg exercises, which are going to focus on your glutes. What are they? Again, the benefits of doing them. And then we're going to do some demos like we've been doing lately.
Okay. So these are 5. There's tons of glute exercises out there. These are the ones that are going to maximize that glute maximus, the big muscle that we have. And these are all ones that you can add weight to. You can add a lot of weight to and progress them. Slow progression with heavy weights is the key to building strong glutes. And for aesthetically, a lot of people are going for that look anyways. So it's good all around, really.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to talk about the leg press, the single leg press, Bulgarian split squats, which are her favorite. They're actually becoming
my worst exercise that I hate to do. Right. But if you had to do one, that would be it.
That is the one, because it's actually probably the hardest. And then the Romanian deadlifts, and then the hip thrusts. All those, like Patty just said, are all key
for that glute maximus. That is the big power muscle. Like I said, the minimus, the other two do the stability. We need that. That's a huge part of what our glutes do. It's that pelvic stability. But the big glute muscle is the one that powers you forward, that propels you forward. That's what we know. The stronger that is, they've studied sprinters. Literally the size of their glute maximus equaled how well they performed. So that is the power. And we're not sprinters, but we're still going long distances. We still want to go faster. We still want that power. So this is also good in functional movements down the way. Or this always translates into being able to get off the ground, being able to stop yourself from falling. All these things work into running, but they work into our functional strength later in life. And that's
right.
What
and it's all about functional strength. As we shared with you guys before, we're taking care of Patty's dad. He was working on strength training up until a few weeks before he passed.
Absolutely.
It goes back to why we focus so much on this. Like I said, 2 weeks ago, we did all those anti-rotational, because it's all that core movement we do every day, getting groceries out of the car, into the cupboards, things like that. And your glutes actually play a role into that, shockingly, right?
It's a huge, huge thing. And people don't realize that it's weaknesses that cause these injuries. It's not running that causes lower back pain. It's not running that gives you runner's knee, even though they call it that. It is having a big part of it is having weak glute muscles that are not stabilizing, that are not giving you that hip extension that you need, and having other ones compensate. So that gives you lower back pain. If you don't have the stability, then your back muscle has to stabilize. Those extensor muscles have to stabilize. If you are running and you get done and your back is killing you and you can barely get in the car and out, you've got some weak glutes and some weak core.
Yeah, and she used to have that, right? So again, why is this important? Patty just said it stabilizes your pelvis, provides you strength for your hip extension, to let you run faster.
And it will help, like
more
I said,
efficient.
Knee issues, back pain, it can IT band, and even foot and ankle issues you can have, all stemming from not having glutes doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. So here is our first demo that we did in the gym. And
most gyms have a leg press.
Kind of a leg press. Now, key thing here is you'll see right there, I'm going to stop it. You'll see where you want to get those legs to a 90 degree.
So you need, they have adjustments on the thing. So you want to get it to where you go down to the end of it and you stop at a 90 degree. You don't want to go past that 90 degree angle, but that's what you want. But you want those feet high. If you have it high on the foot plate, that is what will work the glutes. If you have it low on the foot plate, that is what's going to work the quads. So if you don't know that, you hop on this thing, you can do a lot of weight with this machine safely. It's one of those ones that you can progress. It's a great one to use because you are controlled in there and you can adjust the weight accordingly, but you have safety mechanisms in that machine that are going to keep you from, potentially hurting yourself. But if you don't know any better, you're just going to put your foot up there where it feels good. And if it's down below, then you're working all the quads. We don't want, a lot of runners are quad dominant anyways, because they do have weak glutes and their hamstrings and their quads are taking over, or their calves. So these are the things that we want to correct. So great exercise to do. You just have to have your feet up high.
Right. And that is the critical part to this. The little trick there is having those high feet. As we let this play through here a little bit more, you'll see where we've got the arrow here on the upper section there. That's what you have to do. And that will allow you to build that strength in the glutes. Simple exercise. Start out, light, a little bit when you're starting out, just trying to figure it out, and then progress to heavier weights because you want to do heavier weights. But like Patty just said, you can do this one safely on a machine like this because they've got all the safety stuff built in there. Yeah. So the next one is the single leg press. Now
this is actually what I really use this machine for, is doing that, because running is a single-legged exercise. It is a series of single-legged hops. So a lot of times we are stronger on one side than the other side. So this helps to correct that. It is a lot harder, and we need strength on both of our feet, but we also need strength on our single leg. So this is another great exercise that you can add weight to, safely control it in there, and really work on that single leg strength.
Right. You would be shocked how hard this is doing it as a single leg. But as we showed in the last one with a double leg, you want to have your legs there at 90 degrees. So start out safely with a weight until you can get to that spot, and then just adjust, but try to build up to get to the point where you're lifting heavier weight. And obviously there's safety mechanisms built into these machines. But as I let this play through here, you'll see, or play over, you want to try to get your leg there to the 90 degree. Do a few sets with each leg is the key thing. As Patty just mentioned, you're going to find one of your legs is going to be stronger than the other one. That'll probably shock you, quite frankly. Now, this is Patty's favorite. This is becoming my favorite because it is so hard. That's why.
Now, the key is that you can do this in two different ways. And you see people that are really upright and going straight down, and they're closer to the bench. That's not what I'm doing here. So, but if you are upright and you are closer to the bench and going down, that is going to be focusing on your quads mostly. We don't want that. So you're going to have, now I'm really tall, my legs are long, so I have to extend really far out. But I want my shins vertical. So how high or how far out you need to go to have your shins vertical is how far you need to go out. And you don't want your body upright. You want your body actually
leaning forward. You can see right there.
Having your upper body, your torso leaning forward, and having your shins vertical is the angle that will work the glutes the best. But have something in front of you, have something near you, and do this exercise first without any
weights, right?
When I was having him do this, he's grabbing, 20-pound weights because he's used to doing any exercise with heavy weights, and he's all over the place.
Right.
So,
and it became evident because I was falling down, and she's like, "No, you have to do this without weights." And my ego got in the way, and I said, "No, I can do this." And I realized that no, that's not safe. So you always got to be safe, right? So then we recognize that's why we have a chair there, because just to make sure that you're stable. The key thing is, because like Patty said, her one foot that's forward here, you have to go far enough forward so you can get that angle in your back, as you can see right there, as she goes down. And that's like a runner's pose when you think about that, right? That's what you want, is you want to be leaning far enough forward, but that's going to work the glute, as she does right there. So you can see right there again, that's perfect right there, because their shin is up and down, vertical, and the back is slightly leaning forward, but it's also straight. And that's the key thing. That is going to You do this one. Have you ever done it like this form? Like she said, people do it a lot of times with their leg closer. And you're going to do the quads. Yeah, you do it this way, you are going to feel your glutes. Just the other day we did this. My glutes are still sore.
Yeah.
I have to laugh, but that's just the benefit of doing this, right? So that's the one thing. Again, just do a few sets. You'll be shocked how hard this is, and have that chair there or somebody there to help you out, because you always want to be thinking safety in mind. But that is one of the best ones for your glutes.
Yeah, a big powerful one. It's that single leg stability that we absolutely need, but you can progress it. But just doing body weight, then doing
just body weight right there alone.
Increasing, but you can do slowly. When you get stronger, you can increase the weight. You can keep increasing the weight. This is one of these exercises that you can really progress slowly with the weights that are really going to target that glute maximus that you really need to have that strength with.
Yeah. Now the next one here is a modified deadlift. Again, we're in the gym here. We didn't have an actual bar, so we had to use dumbbells, but that's okay. That is completely fine.
The Iranian deadlift is, instead of picking the bar off the ground and doing it like with the traditional deadlift, you're going down just to your range of motion. And your knees, you want your knees bent. They're not going to be.
This is different than a normal deadlift.
So if you have your knees bent and you are literally trying to push your butt backwards, so you want your hips are going. It's a hinging movement. Your hips are going to go back as far as they can, and then you're going to stop when they stop. So when you do that,
watch here as she moves forward. Their butt's going out, and then you have that little bit of an angle with her knees there.
But as soon as
and her back is flat too.
Yeah. As soon as
right there,
my hips cannot go back any further, I'm not going to bend forward more to get that. People think you got to get down to your feet or go down further for that. Once you go past your hips moving backwards, you're going to be bending to get that way. And then you're going to be hurting or working your lower back.
You're going to be putting some strain in your back, which you do not want to do. Yeah. So this may be a shorter move for some of you guys. You may only be able to go to your knees, the top of your knees, and that's okay, right?
The key is
keeping that back flat and
stopping when your hips stop.
Yeah, when you cannot move your hips back any farther, that's where you want to stop. Now, Patty's just fortunate she can go just below her knees, right
not
there.
Not very far. That's as far as I go before my hips stop going backwards.
Right, so. And she's got some dumbbells there. It wasn't a lot to start out because, again, the key thing here is doing the technique properly. Because if you do it wrong, you're going to put strain in your back, and you do not want that. You do not want that.
Yeah, but this is a great exercise with having the knees bent a little bit. That's going to work that glute more. This obviously works the hamstrings too, but we want to isolate that glute. So doing that, having that mind muscle memory of at the top, squeezing those glutes, get used to your brain knowing what that feels like to have that tension with your glutes. That way you can be purposeful and mindful with each of the exercises. They're actually giving you the best benefit of the time and the effort that you're going to, especially if you're driving to the gym and doing all this stuff. You want to get the best benefit and adaptations that you want to get to what do we all want to do? We want to run more efficiently. We want to be able to run longer. We want to be able to run faster, and we want to stay injury-free.
Yep, exactly. So the last one here then is these hip thrusts. Again, this is one you'd be surprised at how much this will help your glutes, right? So let's let this render here for just a second.
And this is one where we have at the top of the motion, you have all that weight at the top of the movement. That is another great thing. You really should feel your glutes, when you're doing this, and you'd be surprised. You can do a really heavy weight. This is easier to do with bars. They have those little things that cushions that wrap around there, but you could be surprised how heavy a weight you can do with this exercise.
Right. Now she's got a really heavy dumbbell there. I walked over and gave it to her just for safety purposes. Yeah. And then when she's done, she's able to drop it on the ground because a dumbbell, you can do that, right? But again, just be safety in mind here. But the point is you're just trying to thrust that because, again, it's going to focus on your glutes, which is what you want here. You'll see she just kind of moves that forward, backwards motion. But it's critical to have this because, again, this one, you are going to be shocked in how much you can feel this on your glutes.
Yeah, and you're going to pause at the top.
At the top, exactly.
Getting the heavy weight, you get it to the bench, then you roll it over. Now with my arm, I'm not going to risk doing anything with heavy weight with my arm because of what's going on. So I had him bring it over and place it on top of me. So if you have someone that you are working with, that can help. But your hips and in this movement, you'd be surprised how strong and how much weight you can actually move. But another one of those things that you can progress this movement. It isolates the gluteus maximus, that big muscle that we need to have to be super powerful to propel us, running forward.
Yeah, exactly. So as we say each week, we want to make these kind of short and to the point. We're 20 minutes in. We want you guys to have an amazing Saturday because you deserve it, because we never want you to lose your love for running. This is why we do these every week, just to give you some tips so you can research some stuff that we do. Hopefully get your creative juices flowing and give some of these things a try, but do your own research. And again, we're grateful to live another day because we get to do this and we're living in an environment that we are just so grateful. We're grateful for you guys.
Absolutely.
And as we say all the time, please keep posting pictures. We're seeing a lot more of that, which is awesome because it's going to motivate all of us. We all need to be in a community environment right now of like-minded people. We have a lot of insanity going on in the world. Let's hope it doesn't get worse, but we don't know. We've got a lot of inflation. We've got a lot of stuff going on. So we need to get that stress relief because all this stuff is adding stress to our lives, which is why we need the group. And hopefully you can get out and run and do some strength training so we can live into the future and be stronger for it.
All right. Happy Saturday, everybody.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.